Hi, my name is Jacob and welcome to another episode of Raw Uncut on the Abrasive Conversations platform. Today I want to speak about the whole President Ramaphosa's theft saga on his farm. And what I want to do in this particular episode, I want to give a breakdown, but a breakdown in a more rational manner. Because currently what we see in the media is quite very emotional responses from various let me say sectors or interests within society, and that is rightfully so. People are supposed to have their opinions, they are supposed to speculate of what is going on, and I don't think President Ramaphosa is giving the media and the general population in South Africa much to work with, and hence there's so many speculations and emotions taking place. So I wrote down a number of questions that will help us with the breakdown of this particular segment, or just to help us understand and make more clearer sense of what is currently happening. I think if we approach it in this particular way, then I think it kind of settle us as the general South African population in making sense of what is currently happening. So the first question is, what do we currently know about this particular incident that took place on his farm? So what we know is that there has been a break-in and that money was taken from his farm. So there definitely was a theft taking place. President Ramaphosa even came out and confirmed this. That is an actual fact that happened. What we also know is that this information came to the public via Arthur Fraser. So Arthur Fraser was a person that was closely aligned to President Zuma, and is also the person currently also the person responsible for President Zuma's what you call this thing, parole clearance. So he was the person that gave correctional service the go ahead to put President Zuma onto what you call it, medical parole. So, but that then being said, is that is someone very close to President Zuma that gave this information to the public, and this brings me to another one in terms of what we currently know is that this is ongoing investigation. We know that President Ramaphosa wasn't in the country when this took place, that this was reported to the Presidential Protection Unit, and that this particular matter is currently in the hands of the police. So that is what we know for sure and definite. That is what the whole case. This is what we will find. That we know for certain. However, there is a lot of uncertainties. So, what is the allegations currently? So, the allegations from Fraser or the Zuma faction is that there's a crime committed and that this crime is being covered up. So, and this is important. This is an important point to consider, that the whole premise of this particular case is that President Cyril Ramaphosa potentially committed the crime, or put it even stronger in the kind of narrative that's out there, is that he committed the crime and that he's covering it up, and he uses influence and power to cover up this particular crime. However, that is not certain. That is not what we know. This is the allegation. So the allegation is that he's covering up a crime, and then if he's covering up a crime, is that then he has to step down or step aside so that the investigation can take place, so that so there is a free and fair investigation into the case against him. The other allegations that there is that the Namibian government is involved. Apparently, people who were responsible for this particular crime were Namibian, what you call as nationals that was involved in this particular crime, and that the Namibian government is involved in this particular in this particular case, and they kind of work with the presidency and President Cyril Ramaphosa and South African government to deal with the people who are responsible for this particular theft. So these are allegations. The Namibian government in a big part came out deny many of these allegations. So they are treated at this point, or from my point of view, these are treated as allegations. So, and this brings me to the crux of this particular segment or this episode, is what is at stake currently? Because to be honest, I thought by now that this particular case would die down, and that we don't see this in the media anymore. And I think it's now almost close to 3 weeks. We think we're going into week 3 now, and the publicity hasn't stopped. It is still up there. Every day when I check the news, it's still part of the front page or some section. So it's immediately accessible, and there is variations and new revelations that is constantly coming out in the media. So it's not dying down. So for me, what I was thinking is this Cyril Ramaphosa's Nkandla, is this particular incident on his farm, this theft, is this going to be what Nkandla was to Jacob Zuma? Something that, so Nkandla happened and Jacob Zuma wished it away. There was a commission of inquiry, so there were so many things, but it was in the end, it was Nkandla that opened up everything. Investigation, public protector report, and that eventually brought Jacob Zuma down, because that opened the door into what we know today as state capture, and showed the extent of state capture that took place. So Nkandla was the kind of smoking gun, the thing that they needed to bring Zuma down. So is this whole Farmgate thing on Cyril Ramaphosa, is this the smoking gun? Is this going to reveal us a different side of President Ramaphosa and open up a lot of things that we are not prepared to know? So, but I think there's more at stake. Definitely, there's more at stake. This is the year of the ANC's presidential election. So at the end of this year, there's going to be a presidential congress, or the ANC Congress, National Congress, and at that National Congress, a new president is going to be elected. That president, or that person who was elected as the ANC's president, stands a fairly good chance of becoming the next president of the country. So, as you would know from the state capture reports, currently the whole Zuma faction, they are feeling it. Many of them was involved in the state capture inquiry, and the reports and the information is revealed now in the state capture reports. There is cases against them. Some more information will come out, and so the MPA currently is looking at which of these are the cases that they can go afterward and start a criminal procedure against some individuals in that particular camp. As we know, is because of the state capture and President Zuma's defiance to to appear in front of the state capture inquiry led to where he is now to his sentence or his prison sentence. So the state capture and this commission, the Zuma faction is feeling it. If they lose, if the Zuma faction lose this upcoming presidential Congress, then that's the end of them. That's completely the end of them. That the whole Zuma era then is gone. And I think that is what they're seeing, and I think that is what they're getting up forward towards. So this means that this allegations against President Ramaphosa can either be fabricated or it can be the truth. If it's the truth, then Cyril Ramaphosa, according to the ANC step aside policy, unfortunately have to step aside. If it's not true, it might just create the doubt that a lot of the delegates need for when they're voting in the Congress. And I think this is what is currently happening. What we're currently seeing is the Zuma faction sowing doubt amongst the potential delegates that is going to come to the Congress, that is going to vote for the next president. And I think this is at the heart of it. But this is just a speculation from my side. But I think if you sow doubt amongst the delegates, then you can control who is going to the next president of the ANC. So lastly, I have another point, and I think there's only one newspaper who dealt with this. It might be two, but for me, the real concern in this whole particular incident is twofold. So the first is that there was a security breach in South Africa. So the president's home was breached, and there was no report, there was no announcement in the media or everywhere. Now, since this was a security breach, and from my days in the South African National Defence Force, I know that it's dealt with in a very sensitive manner. So if it's dealt in a sensitive manner, you cannot disclose information left and right. By disclosing information, what happens is that you exposes the threat even further, and you don't also give information if it's an investigation or you're not certain the source or where it comes from. And this, for me, is the important one, is the security breach. Because with the security breach, there's also a leak of information. This leak of information, so it's by no accident that Arthur Fraser got this information. So someone close to the presidency or somewhere is leaking information to the Zuma faction. And for me, that is scary. Because if you leak information from the president or at the high level like that, how many foreign nations or how vulnerable are the president in South Africa to foreign nations then if information like this can just leak? So for me, that's the real concerning thing, is that there was a security breach, and the security breach was first two levels. Like it got to the president's private residence and they break in. That's serious. And the second one is that information was leaked to Arthur Fraser to expose this particular break-in and use this as a way of influence public perception, public opinion, but ultimately the perception of delegates when they're going to vote. So for me, that is the serious part, and that is what I think the president and the security arm of South Africa really have to look at is that we cannot be this prone to a breach. We have to do something about it. And finally, the final concern, what's concerning for me, is that people do not trust politicians anymore. If we do not trust politicians, the concerning part is that we will not turn up for elections. We're not coming out to vote. And if we're not coming out to vote, then all of the bad elements within the political options, they get elected. So this, if the trust of the voters go down, then also you will see election turnout is also coming down. That for me is very scary. That there is no trust currently amongst South African voters, and that sowing doubt for me for the 2024 election. I don't think there's options. I think a lot of South Africans is worried. They don't know what is going to happen, and what we currently see in the media is a reflection of our doubts, our mistrust, because we have seen this before, and it came to bite us in the ass. So that's just my take on this. This is a breakdown of how I see what is happening, but it would be interesting to see how this whole event is playing out, and if this is going to be President Ramaphosa's Nkandla in the end, the one that brought him down. So thank you very much for watching. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And until we see each other again, thank you very much. Bye bye.